All right, well, welcome to 4-H in Action.
How
It's
do you
so
get
fun to
back
see
this?
4-H members on the Zoom and their families. So if you haven't done so already, please mute your mic in the lower left corner. It looks like this on your screen where it says unmute.
How do we do that? Did we do that already? No. Is it mute?
Okay, if you're on an iPhone, tap your screen and you'll notice a little toolbar that pops up on the bottom, and on the bottom left, you can hit mute and unmute.
Are we mute?
Yes, no.
Nope, you're not muted yet. 16052's iPhone. And when you're muted, you should see this little.
All right, and if you haven't done so already, and then Megan, if you just want to go in and hit unmute on your Zoom. Are you on a phone or on a laptop?
Phone.
Okay, so same thing with that, just on the bottom, touch your screen and there you go. And in the chat message for each members, please add your name, county, age. And if you put in your email, we'll send you a survey after this also, along with maybe more information. So the chat is on the bottom of the screen. There's this little chat box there, middle message box.
We got hit on the legal purchase contract agreement with North Carolina.
All right. So if you just hit mute on your phone or on your laptop, we'll get started. All right, so we want to welcome you to the 4-H Special Foods and Consumer Decision Making Skill-a-thon Zoom today. We're happy to see 4-H members from across the state or wherever you're Zooming in from. It's always fun to see your faces in this time. So we're going to get started with a quick little survey. So you'll get to be using your phone or your laptop for this. So somebody's going to share a little quick. So have you ever participated in the 4-H Special Foods Contest? You'll need to click yes if the county contest, yes county and state contest, not yet but I'm thinking about it, or no. Just mark that. Second question, have you ever participated in the 4-H Consumer Decision Making Contest? Yes, county contest, yes, county and state contest, or not yet, but I'm thinking about it.
That means where
You have like 30, you have some more time to do that. Half of you have participated so far. Keep on clicking. If you haven't done so yet. Just have a few more to do.
Everyone had an opportunity to complete the poll. If so, I will go ahead and end it. I know that some of our participants are parent leaders and even extension staff. So I'll give it a couple more seconds.
All right, looks like some of you have done the county and state contest too. All right, so we'll get started. Do I need to just X this out, Sonia, for you?
Do you still see it? I
Yes,
closed
I can
it.
see it. Or, there you go. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about special foods and CDM. We're first going to
Jody,
talk about.
I still see it. Does anybody else still see the poll? Sarah, do you, or who, Bonnie, do you still see the poll? Oh, I got it off.
Poll is gone.
All right, thank you. Well, I hope you've all been following Choose My Plate as you're at home eating and making your meals. So remember that half your plate should be fruits and vegetables, the other half of your plate be grains and protein, and 3 servings you should have of dairy every day. My name is Jody Lair. I'm the Cottington County 4-H Youth Program Advisor in Watertown, and we're happy to have you on our Zoom. So what is the Special Foods Contest? This is a contest where you prepare a recipe from one food group on Choose My Plate that we just discussed. Your food must contain 1 serving of a food group, so whether you pick the proteins, the grains, or the vegetables. Your recipe should provide 2 to 6 servings. We don't need a huge 12-serving recipe. We just need 2 to 6 servings. So if your recipe that you find for special foods serves 12, we can cut that recipe in half. You'll get 90 minutes to complete 4 parts of the contest. And so those 4 parts of the contest include technique, which we're going to be discussing today, the food quality, what does your food taste like? Is it completely done? The nutrition interview that you're going to have with a nutrition judge, learning your nutrition facts, and aesthetics and hospitality, which is your place setting and how it goes with your recipe that you have created. So when you're selecting your recipe, select your recipe for a personal reason. Maybe it's your family favorite because you know when you're making and practicing special foods, you have to make it a lot. So you're gonna wanna have something that your family likes. Make sure, maybe it's a challenge. So if it's a senior 4-H'er and you wanna challenge yourself a little more, find a recipe that might challenge you. Make sure it falls into your favorite food group too. So you wanna make sure that you like it also. So you're gonna have to taste it too. Your recipe should have at least 3 ingredients to be measured because we want to make sure the judges see you measure at least 3 ingredients as you're doing the contest. Make sure it meets 2 to 6 servings. We don't want something that's just 1 serving. We need to have at least 2 to 6 servings. Make sure that it fits the time frame of the contest. Remember, you have 90 minutes. So you have to do your table setting, your technique, your recipe, and your nutrition. And they have to taste it in those 90 minutes. So today's recipe, Sonia and her daughter will be making ranch roasted potatoes. But before we get started on that, we're going to have Tracy talk a little bit about consumer decision making skill-a-thon and the changes that are occurring in our state.
Good afternoon, everybody. And like she said, I'm Tracy Lurkey. I'm from Roberts County up here in Sisseton. I see we got a lot of different counties here. If you ever have heard of the Seachy Hollow State Park, my house isn't too far from that. I am the co-chair of the Consumer Decision Making Skill-a-thon. I believe my other chairperson is on here. Bonnie, do you want to say hi and tell everybody where you're from too?
Yes, Bonnie Nellick, and I am from Edmonds County, based out of Ipswich, which is up by Aberdeen, for those of you not familiar with the state.
Thank you, Bonnie. So today we're going to talk about the consumer decision making, and a lot of times if you're talking to us 4-H people, we call it the CDM Skill-a-thon. This year you'll see the new word Skill-a-thon because Bonnie and I are following the 4-H motto of making the best better. And we wanted to make sure that we were improving our contest and giving you 4-Hers more things that you can use and learn every day now as you're a 4-H member as well as an adult. But we're going to still stay with judging classes as part of the Skill-a-thon. And as it shows that when you participate in this state event, you will have 2 judging classes to judge. And those judging classes will be from one of these areas, or 2 of these areas, I should say. Child development, clothing and textiles, and food and nutrition. And out of those 2 judging classes, there'll be a set of check type reasons. If we have any seniors on here this year, that will be a change for you, because you will not do oral reasons this year, just because we are in Nordby Hall this year, new location, new day, and so everybody will go to the check type question. Now today we're going to concentrate a lot about the Skill-a-thon part. And there's 3 parts to our Skill-a-thon. There's going to be a food and cooking, an interior design and housing, and sewing and clothing. Today we're going to concentrate on the green section, food and clothing. When you actually do the state competition, you'll have different, like beginners, you only need to know 10 items. So we're going to have a little fun, get you up and moving around. We're going to do a little scavenger hunt in your kitchen. And we're going to start with the cookware section of the food and cooking ID. And so I know we've got some siblings. So what I was thinking is maybe the younger sibling take the lower number. So if you're the youngest 4-H member, you take the baking pan. And if you're the oldest 4-H member, you take the colander and pie plate. And we're in kitchen. We're going to be talking about kitchen safety, so maybe no running, but we're going to set a timer. Jody's going to unmute again and set up the timer, and we're going to have 30 seconds to find in your kitchen a baking pan, a baking sheet, a colander, and a pie plate. And then I just want you to come back when you have your 4 items, and if you could do your video, please, so we can see all your items. Is everybody ready? When the timer begins, go find a baking pan, a baking sheet, a colander, and a pie plate. All right, are we back? So colleagues, I'm gonna just ask you, there's no way to do my view more than just a few on the side, is there?
Ashley, out of my room.
Okay. Everybody is back with their items. So let's start with number 1. Please hold up your baking pan. We have some baking pans. Oh, look at, here they come. I'm clicking through. So if you'll notice, everybody, and if hopefully your view isn't just me, that you have it so you can see other people, and you'll notice that some are glass, it looks like, some are metal, but they probably vary in deepness. And you've probably seen a cake baked in that pan that you're holding up. That would be a baking pan.
I hope that's right.
So now, how about a baking sheet? Can we see your baking sheets? Okay. All right, I'm seeing. And if you weren't able to find yours, just look through the pictures. And so a lot of these sheets, when we look at the definition of a baking sheet, it's a flat, I want you to look at yours or look at these pictures, and it's a flat, shiny metal tray. And in the definition, you know, what do we usually see on these? We usually see biscuits and cookies. Okay, let's see the different colanders that we have in South Dakota. We have a metal one with handles. We have a red one. We have some orange. Well, I'm catching on. So the videos, I just stay on the top. It's a learning experience here for us. We've got a white one. I have a white one just like that over here. I have one that has handles and I have one that doesn't. Look at your sizes of your holes of your cup. All the colanders have holes, obviously, because they are used to drain off our liquids and rinsing our food. Okay. How many pie plates do we have out here? We have a glass one. Yep. Lots of glass. There's, oh, I see a shiny one. I see a metal, yep. And they do. When you look at the definition of pie plates, they come in a variety of materials. So that'll be an easy way to remember that. If you look at, I gotta move it up so I know. So also the definition, I'm trying to see where I did with my pie plate. I know my daughter cleaned up the kitchen before I went on, and I think she put my pie plates away. So if you look on your edges of your pie plate, they're usually 1.5 to 2 inches. And that's kind of what you guys were showing me. And then usually they're 8 to 11 inches long. So a ruler's 12. So you'll have to see, maybe you'll want to measure your pie plate after we're done. But that's the description of a pie plate. Well, thank you for participating in our first scavenger hunt. Good job, everybody.
Be prepared for some more scavenger hunting as we go on. All right, part of special foods we'll go back to is technique that we're talking about today is washing your hands. We've heard a lot about that in the last few weeks, but you that have been in special foods know a lot about washing your hands for 20 seconds. You'll wear an apron, a hair covering, which could be a bandana, it could be a hat, and your shoe selection. Remember, you want to wear closed-toe shoes for anything that might spill. They'll be showing you the supplies on your tray, be covered with a towel. You'll need a dish rag on your tray in case you need to clean up any spills. A trash bag near you, so if you have things to throw away, you don't have to walk so far to a trash bag or a garbage bag. And some wax paper in between your trays. That helps make sure that you have a clean surface, because we know if anyone cleaned the surface before you. And make sure you keep your work area nice and neat. So today we have Dustin Kepke, who is Sarah Kepke's husband. He is a great chef. He's going to show you the proper knife skills that you need for special foods. So we're going to turn this over. I'm going to stop my sharing and turn it over to Dustin to share his.
Hey guys, just doing a little bit of knife skills today for you. A little bit of how-tos and kind of what's what. First, we'll start off with the knives, different kinds. This here is just a good, sturdy, old-fashioned chef's knife. Nice and durable, thicker blade. Lasts you a long time if you treat it right. Next one that's widely used is the Santoku. Actually originated in Japan. It's a nice, lightweight knife. So if you got to do a lot of vegetables, it's a great knife for it. Doesn't get too heavy for you. Next would be the serrated knife. Good for breads. Anything else that's got tough skin or anything like that, got the nice serration there for it. The boning knife looks similar to a fillet knife, but it's a thicker blade and meant for deboning whatever you want to debone, hence the name. And then we have the slicer, great for, I use it a lot on holidays for slicing turkey, prime rib, ribs, whatever you do for your things, your holidays. And last but not least, the paring knife, the multitasker knife for everyone. Good starter knife for kids. And you can do about anything with it, really. I mean, it's an all-around good knife. Here we have what they call a steel or a hone. it's to straighten the edge out of your knife. After use, no matter what you do, you'll end up with a wave in the edge of your knife, and you just use this to straighten back out to a nice sharp edge. So that's it for knives. That's the majority of different kinds. So I'm going to demonstrate first. It's called Supreme cuts, or supreming a fruit. So you cut the top and the bottom off. Then you work your knife around, just like cutting a watermelon, essentially. This is good for the kids that don't like the bitter pith. If you really want them to have some fruit, do this to it. And just take your time. If you're, don't need to rush it. Spot. So you know how oranges have segments and grapefruits. So what you do, you just take your knife right next to the segment edge and go cut down to the middle. Then you find the other edge of the segment. You cut down to the middle again. And when you get to the middle, you just churn your knife. Grab it. And if you got a good enough cut on it, you'll get yourself a whole segment. And the next move is to go right next where you cut last. Right down there. Find the other half. You have to bear with me. It's been a while since I've done some supreming, so. And with more practice, your slices will come out much cleaner. Do a couple more here just to keep, let you see it again. This grapefruit is liking to fall apart. Okay, well, it's just kind of crumbling, but most of the time, oranges are probably better fruits for it. This is good for like fruit salads if you want orange in it. You don't have mandarins, but you happen to have regular oranges. It's more appetizing, I should say. Another one to show you is Roma Tomatoes. So what I'll do, I'll just cut the top part off where it connects to the plant. And what I'll do is I'll cut it onto force. Pull down. There you go, and you got rid of all that, all the seeds and all the inner stuff. Then what next? You just keep your fingers tucked in. Here, you got a nice small dice for guacamole or whatever you'd like to do with it. Do another one here. Maybe I'll just do the whole tomato just to round it off here.
Dustin, can you talk to us too about how you're holding that handle? A lot of us just hold the handle.
Absolutely. So the best way to hold your chef's knife, or any knife really, if that matters, if you can, is to pinch the backbone, or spine actually. They call it the back of the knife. See how my thumb's placed? I mean, a lot of people are tendency to do this. Just, if you have a nice sharp knife, you won't need to. The trouble with this is that it makes your knife unstable. So that's, odds are good you'll cut your finger more often than not. So if you just keep your, a good thing we were taught, grab your knife, you pinch it first, like so, then bring your hand around to hold your knife. And there we go. There's some tomato dices. All right. Stick with the chef French knife. Excuse me. It's not COVID. Good old-fashioned onion. The only time it's okay for a guy to cry and not get made fun of. I've never noticed a difference, but sometimes people leave the root on, and that will help keep the aromatics from getting into your eyes. Well, sulfuric acid essentially mixes with the aroma from the onion, mixes with the moisture in your eye, and it causes that burn. So they say if you leave that on, less of the aroma will come out and mix with the moisture in your eye. I always take the top layer off with the skin and the first layer of onion. So I think I showed this before, dicing onion, but I'll just do it again because it's the most common thing you'll do with an onion. Just nice and easy. Don't force it. Then cat's claw again. You can, I don't know if Sarah can come up over the top. You can see the knife rests against my finger, the flat part. And just like a saw, cut through your onion. You got a nice small diced onion there. And when I get to the end where you can start seeing root, I'll actually turn the onion on its end there, and I'll just go around and cut a little bit on the outside. It's not be too wasteful. Another thing you can do with an onion, be careful that probably don't do that at home. I've been around knives for quite a while, so I can handle doing that. But just be on the safe side, probably don't do that at home. So this time we will cut off the root. And you can see most of the root is gone. There's no hard yellow spot. Try and find, oh yeah, here we go. Here's a good cross section. That hard yellow stuff there, you don't want to, it's better not to cook with that. It's tough and it's very, very bitter. So here we're going to slice an onion. So you can either slice it this way, or you could actually turn your onion and slice it this way. It's more personal preference, however you want to do it. I like slicing them this way better, just better looking, and but like I said, it's personal preference on onion. We go on that. Now, paring knife, one that people like to use a lot. Avocado. Delicious green goodness.
Who likes avocado? Raise your hand if you like avocado.
Yeah, quite a few of you. All right. If you don't, I dare you to try it. I double dog dare you. Well, this didn't work out like I wanted it to.
We have
The
spares.
seed actually cut in half, which usually never happens very often. So you just cut down the middle of the avocado all the way around. And it pops open like so. Now everybody seems to have trouble with this, the seed, the core. So what you can do is you lay down in a towel, actually probably hold it in your hand like so, like that. Take your paring knife and chop it. Give it a twist, it'll pop right out. That's the easy part. I've seen lots of people try and take this off like this, and I've seen knives go flying. It wasn't pretty that day at school. Easiest thing to do, you got your paring knife, you're holding it, your non-dominant hand. Just, that's, I don't know, good angle. See how I'm pinching it? Boom, just like that. So there's two ways you can do this. You can slice it and dice it right in the skin. You want to be careful though, because it's not too hard to break through the skin with it in your hand like that. So really keep the towel underneath. Take your spoon. And kind of like you're scooping ice cream out. Follow the skin of the avocado. And usually it comes out all together. Get some nice slices. I typically like to scoop it out first. Then I'll slice it just like a tomato, anything else for that matter. Cat's claw again. Slice it however thick or thin you want it. And even dice it from here on out too. There we go. Hopefully that was somewhat informative for you guys. So stay safe and have fun.
Helpful tip for you guys, switch my camera around, is that when you do avocado, probably the one frustrating thing is having your avocado turn brown right away, right? So helpful hint would be put the seed back in to, like, if you're gonna refrigerate your avocado for the overnight or whatnot, put the seed back in, because that helps from it oxidifying and oxidization to occur. It will, so you won't have brown avocado the next morning if you just put that seed in. So thanks for letting us join you guys.
Thank you.
Here with our little baby. So
Yeah, you have to forgive the camera crew.
He was trying to participate too.
Yeah, he's drooling all over the food we're cutting up.
If there's any questions, we can have them late afterwards.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Now we're gonna go back to Tracy. I hope you guys want to ready to get up and move again.
Okay, thank you, Jody. And now we are in our dish and tableware section. So again, thinking about kitchen safety, don't be running into your siblings. A lot of these things we're gonna go after are glass items, but I would like you to go see if you have a cake platter, if you have a juice glass, a meat platter, and a parfait cup. Jody will start our music, and then you're off to get a cake platter, a juice glass, meat platter, and parfait cup. Go.
Through his play.
There we go.
I saw a lot of empty seats, so they must have been running. Tracy, you're just muted there. Unmute. There you go.
Thank you. All right. Is there other cake platters? Can you hold it up? I'm trying to scroll through, you guys. So This makes me think, oh, I'm seeing lots of them. This makes me think of, this is a perfect time in our social distancing, and we're all told to check on our neighbors, check on our grandparents, our aunts and uncles. The reason I have this cake platter in my home, it was my husband's grandma. And so if you don't have a cake platter at home, and when your family calls to check on that loved one or that friend or that neighbor, this will be a good conversation piece away from all this COVID talk. You know, find out what kind of platter do they have. The definition says that their cake platter can be smooth here, or maybe there's a little ledge. Cake platters do not have to have a pedestal like mine does, but maybe it does. So this would be a different conversation piece for you during this time. Okay, how about those juice glasses? I know I have a small one. Mine's clear. All right. Lots of clear ones. Okay, and the meat platter. Did we find any meat platters? It's getting usually, oh, look at you guys are good searchers. All different kinds. This kind of reminds me of when we check in with our grandparents and loved ones too, that, hey, what color is your meat platter? A lot of times meat platters are range from 12 inches, which is our ruler again, to 20 inches. You'll notice like a lot of your 4-H members here, usually they're oblong. And then we have a parfait cup. Do we have any parfait cups around? Yes, I see. Yep. I have had 4-H members in the special foods contest do a yogurt fruit parfait in it. But again, the definition, when we think of a parfait cup, we're going to think about layering, that there's layers in our cup. Maybe it's our ice cream sundae, or maybe it's even or else mousse is in there too. So way to go, you guys are good. All right, thank you for participating in our dish and tableware.
All right, so we're gonna go to Sonia's kitchen, and they're gonna show us their technique and with their recipe.
So just as you offered me up for talking, something from the counter slid to the ground the floor. So hopefully our special foods tray setup is still in okay shape. And hey, that happens from time to time. My name is Sonia Mack. I'm the 4-H Youth Program Advisor in Brookings, and welcome to my kitchen in Brookings. I have my daughter Brinley that will be helping with this technique demonstration, so that while she's doing the technique, I can be talking a little bit about what you see in front of her, as well as asking her a couple questions, as you could experience and expect that in the contest. So I'm going to switch from my computer over to my phone, and we'll check in with Brinley here. So give me a moment. Okay, so you should be seeing Brinley now, I think. And first things first in our contest, Brinley, the contest coordinators usually send you right over to wash your hands. And I know that Jody indicated that a little bit earlier in our presentation. Oh, she's got some hot water. And we're going to then follow her to her station. I just want to point out that she does have closed-toed shoes on, an apron, and a hat. You'll notice that at her workstation, I'm going to back up just a little bit, everything is currently covered with white towels or dish towels. They don't necessarily have to be white, but this ensures that things are staying protected from environments such as contest spaces that may have flies. At the state fair, we definitely do see flies throughout our kitchen. You'll notice that she has wax paper on her. Oh, I see a note that says, can everyone see Sonia? I'm hoping everybody can see Brinley right now.
I can see Brinley.
Okay, that's what I'm hoping for. Wax paper on her countertop. That too is to make sure that she's working on a clean surface, because as Jody suggested earlier, you don't necessarily know who's been at that surface prior to you, and this ensures that it is clean and sanitary. She has items on trays. She's got the things she'll need on this side, and as she's done using them, she'll place them over here on this tray. When she's concluded, if there's anything left on the tray she started with, she might have to review her recipe to make sure that she didn't forget something. So Brinley, why did you choose this recipe?
Because it's good.
What about it do you especially like?
The potatoes.
The potatoes, okay. And what is your recipe again?
Ranch roasted potatoes.
Brinley also has a recipe in front of her, which is completely acceptable. It's a little hard to know what you're making when you're maybe trying to do it from scratch, or from memory even. So definitely you'll plan to have a recipe at your workstation. In order to make sure that we could move through this recipe somewhat quickly, we did prepare some of our potatoes ahead of time. The contest does allow you to bring a few prepared, pre-measured, pre-cut items with you. I keep seeing some things come up on the chat here, so I'm hoping that you still are able to see Brookings County 4-H member Brinley Mack doing her cutting potatoes currently.
Yes, we can.
Okay. You'll notice that Brinley has an extra potato on her tray. It's always a good idea to bring some extras with you for the technique portion in case something hits the ground, or in this case, she was cutting potatoes ahead of time and we found one that wasn't so good and that she had ended up having to throw some of that away. So we made sure that in case she ran into a bad part on a potato and didn't end up with her full 6 cups, that she had, hey, you need to measure your 6 cups, remember? Remember, the judge needs to watch you measure 3 items, and her recipe is rather short. So she is measuring 6 cups of potatoes. Brinley's going to be a senior in 4-H this year, and our committee has spent a lot of time talking about potentially the simplicity of the recipes that people might be using. And you notice this one only has 3 ingredients, and even though she's a senior, the reality is this is a recipe that doesn't have a lot of additional fat because we didn't add a bunch of extra ingredients like soup bases or just extra pieces, cheese, whatever, that may add some additional calories. But it's one that families are busy and can quickly make this to have with their home cooked meal at night or on the weekends whenever you find yourself sitting down for most of your family meals. You see Brinley's moving pieces over to this side, indicating she's done with them. She is measuring a liquid. Why are you getting down at eye level with that, Brinley? So she can see and ensures accuracy. She was to measure 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. And she does have a wet rag there next to her, so she's able to wipe up any spills she might have and wipe her fingers off on. Once Brinley gets this started, we're gonna turn it back over to Jody and Tracy, and we'll check back. She is using an appliance, and so her appliance is over here to the side, and it's plugged in and preheated and ready to go. Well, Brinley, why are you measuring over that bowl?
So you don't make a mess.
And any other reasons?
So then you can dump it. Or, yeah, so it's easier to measure.
Perfect. She needs 2 tablespoons of, can hot sauce be pre-measured? I didn't see all of the chat comments. So if Tracy or Jody, if you might be able to check that chat comment about pre-measured hot sauce.
Can hot sauce be measured, pre-measured for a recipe?
You may come with what, up to 3 items that are pre-measured or pre-cut or pre-prepared?
I believe it's 2, isn't it? We need to at least measure 3 ingredients at the contest, and 2 others can come pre-measured, I believe. When the new booklet comes out, we can double check that.
All right, so she's tossing her potatoes that she had coated in some vegetable oil and has seasoned with some Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning mix. And next into the air fryer. All right, and they're cooking. Hopefully we can show you the end product before we're done here.
All right. Thank you. We're gonna move on to get everybody up and moving again. And Tracy.
Okay, we are on to our spices and food section scavenger hunt, and now no pushing, siblings, because a lot of times I know these things are all in the same cupboard, but I would like you to go find allspice, cinnamon, sage, and vanilla. And if there's an adult, either we're gonna open them up, or if you wanna grab a plate for them, because I would like them to look at the colors. So again, when Jody gets the timer going, then we're gonna go look for our allspice, cinnamon, sage, and vanilla. Okay, and this is really actually our herbs and spices. I see. We're all learning this contest together. So let's start with our allspice. We got some allspice? Okay, can you guys shake it out on your plate? Or I know I can unscrew mine, but sometimes that's not too easy when you haven't did it yet. Then let's look at our cinnamon. Mine just looks like this, But if you guys can shake some of your cinnamon out in a separate spot or open up the lid. And you'll notice that there's a kind of a different color, isn't there? They're both brown. Our thing with our allspice, everybody with our spices, you know, it's okay to smell them sometimes. Do we like the smell of your allspice? How are we doing? Do we like the smell? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Oh, we got some down, we got some ups. So our allspice 4-Hers, it's actually obviously made for baking, and they're dried and they're from dried, nearly ripe berries of this type of plant. So our cinnamon, we probably are more, as 4-Hers, maybe familiar with cinnamon. Maybe we put it on things. This is, I found this really interesting. This was my thing that I learned today, that it's from dried aromatic inner bark of certain tropical Asian trees. So if you ever see the definition of something that comes from a tropical Asian tree, that would be our cinnamon. And usually it's ground when we're using it. So then we're going to move on to sage. Did everybody find some? Oh, we got some sage. Can you guys look at it? Can you either sprinkle some out or? And so the definition of this is a grayish green. Can you guys kind of see? Do you guys all agree with that? Yep, I see some head nods. And the leaves of the plant is what used to make our seasoning. Everybody show me your vanilla. All right, we got bottles. Good job. Okay, this is the fruit from the vanilla plant, actually, which is cured, and then it's either used in a bean form in cooking or processed to extract an essence, which is used for flavor. So let's everybody smell. If you've never smelled your vanilla before, let's smell it. Smells kind of, do we like that smell? So thank you again. We'll have one more scavenger hunt. Thanks.
All right, here are some pictures from special foods in contests where you can see that they use blenders. So kids that are at 8, 9, and 10, beginner 4-Hers can use blender drinks. And then you have a pitcher to put it in to share it with. And here's someone cooking their meat. And make sure that you have a thermometer to take the temperature of that meat to make sure it's thoroughly cooked well. Just some kitchen safety as you're in your kitchen and preparing. Use your dry pot holders. You don't want wet pot holders. It can burn your hands if you touch something hot. Make sure you're turning your handles inward so no one walks by your stovetop and knocks it on the floor. Know how to use your utensils and appliances that you're going to use for the special foods contest. And watch for spills. So if you're at the contest and something falls and spills on the floor, we can clean it up quickly. So we're going to just check in quick with Sonia and see how they are doing with their potatoes.
Oh, they're baking. They have to be in here for 20 minutes, and there are 15 minutes left. So in 5 more minutes, we will shake and bake for another 10. They smell really good. I wish you could smell them right now.
Next thing you want to know is the food safety, and Dustin talked a little bit about this, but if you have fresh fruits and vegetables that you have in your recipe, you'll want to wash those fruits and vegetables using that colander that Tracy shared with you. It's best to have a plate underneath your colander, especially if you're going to be walking from the kitchen sink over to your place where you're preparing your recipe. As we said, use a meat thermometer because we want to make sure that your food is thoroughly cooked and make sure that you get it to the right temperature. So make sure if you're cooking pork or beef, you want to make sure you know what the recipe should go to or what your meat should go to. And avoid cross-contamination. And some of you may not know what that is, but if you see in the picture here, we have someone cutting up fruits and vegetables, and we have someone cooking meat or cutting meat. So we don't want to be cutting those on the same cutting board. So if you have both to be cutting, make sure you bring 2 cutting boards if you're participating in the special foods contest with those 2 things, because otherwise we will have some cross-contamination from the meat into our vegetables, and that would not be good. All right, Tracy, everyone's ready to move.
All right. So now we're in the utensils section of our food and cooking. And we're gonna go find an apple slicer, a liquid measuring cup, measuring cups, and measuring spoons. Are we ready? Let's go. And here you guys are back. Everybody, nice work for going and trying to find it. How about an apple slicer? Do we have an apple slicer? Oh, we've got all different kinds. Okay, so the definition of an apple slicer is obvious. If you have it in your home, I bet you watched it, it's to press down. But in the definition, it talks about it makes so many uniform slices. So if everybody will look at their apple slicer and count the uniform shapes and then hold up your fingers. How many uniform shapes does your apple slicer make? Hold up your fingers. Let's see. Looks like Wendy Sweeters. Boy, they're 8. Erin is 7, 6. 8 is Mary. Am I seeing a lot of 8s maybe? Looks like 8s. Yep, that is what the definition says, is that it'll make 8 even slices, and then this one in the center is obviously for the core. Okay, let's go to that liquid measuring cup that you found. Some of you probably have glass, some of you have plastic. Yes. That is for our liquid, and Brinley showed us how when we use it in special foods, we need to bend down to eye level. Another thing that I learned by getting ready for today is part of the definition, our liquid measuring cups have a 1/4 inch headspace from where the line is to where the last top, mine's a 4 cup, to the top. And the reason it has that 1/4 inch space, it's so when we carry it, it's not filled completely to the top, so we're not spilling it. Okay, so I bet I'm gonna see all types of measuring cups, all types of colors and sizes. Yes. And that's the thing, measuring cups, they're usually come in 4 different sizes. They're nestled in with each other. If you only found one, then let's see what holds yours up then, because the 4 different sizes are usually a 1/4 cup. Normally, I think most of us are on here on the handle, or it could be a 1/3 cup. If you have a 1/3 cup, will you hold that up? A 1/2 cup? And a 1 cup. Some of ours actually come, not everyone, good job, thank you for participating. Some of them come with a 3/4 cup. Does anybody have a 3/4 cup? Because that's kind of unique. Okay, all right, there's a couple. Nice job. And then our last but not least, we're gonna see a lot of different measuring spoons. The difference between our cups and our spoons is measuring spoons are used for liquid and dry. We got all different colors and kind of shapes, don't we? All right. Jody, if you want to turn the slide, please. So what we just did is we picked out a few of these items. This is the complete list of the food and cooking ID answer sheet. Now, I do not want to scare anybody away from our Skill-a-thon with this long list. This is a great opportunity. This is one of the positive things about our social distancing right now. We are all somewhere with a kitchen, and we have these things, or it's a time to, I'm sure that neighbor that we should check in on or that loved one probably has these. It'll be a good conversation piece when you're helping in the kitchen. Make sure that you ask questions and ask them, what is this item called? Look at the spices that are getting put in your foods and read that label. You know, your family may be putting it on a certain item, but maybe the directions say it can be used differently. And of course, obviously we have all this internet capability now. And so if you don't know what's on here, then we can always Google it. And we do have a booklet also that is available to families. The one section that I did not cover was appliances. And again, but it was so easy. I just spent a few minutes and just pulled out appliances in my own home. And that is what's actually behind me. And so, you know, quickly, can you count and hold up how many appliances you guys see behind me? And that's why I really don't want to scare you about this contest. It's all right in your home. And so I actually have 7. Behind me, if it was hard to tell, I had the air fryer, the blender, the mixer countertop, the mixer hand, the electric skillet, slow cooker, and toaster. So it's an easy way. And if you're doing your spring cleaning, hey, help your family in the kitchen and learn what everything is in your kitchen. So thank you for participating in our scavenger hunt, and it was so fun to see all of your faces. And if you have any questions about this contest in particular, feel free to ask me or Bonnie or your local county office, and they'll send your question to me. Thank you. Are you talking?
You're muted, Jody.
I'm sure Sonia has a few more minutes on hers, so if you want to take some questions while you're finishing up your food, Sonia?
While Tracy was showing some things, I just turned on my video so you could see that at that 10-minute mark, we opened up our air fryer and we shook our potatoes around and put them back into cook. So yeah, let's certainly go to the chat. Katrina writes, how many different things can I make? Katrina, you may select as many recipes as you want, truly, but remember it's no different than any other 4-H project area where you can only have 2 per lot. So that would mean if you wanted to make multiple recipes for one contest, that you would want to make sure they weren't all protein or vegetable or fruit. But within one entry, within one 90-minute contest period, you will only be preparing one recipe that falls within one of the 5 food groups and that offers between 2 and 6 servings. Are there any other questions? That was a great one. Thank you, Katrina.
Now on here, we do have our email addresses, so you can email us questions too. Or if you have recipes that you want us to look at and see if they're going to meet the criteria for special foods, just remember you're not baking brownies or cinnamon rolls. These are something that covers my plate, something healthy.
So Mary asked how much ranch was in the potatoes. It was 2 tablespoons, or for very convenience sake, one packet of ranch. And Katrina says, so I can't make meat and potatoes. Well, Katrina, you could make meat and potatoes, but you're only going to put it into one food group. So if you're making meat and part of your recipe includes potatoes, but the primary ingredient in your recipe is a protein, then it would fall into the protein group. If you were making like scalloped potatoes with ham, where you didn't have enough protein in there to meet a protein serving, then the potatoes would be the primary ingredient as far as that recipe is concerned, and you would then be under the vegetable food group. That was 1/4 of a cup of oil. Maria and Patrick wanted to know what was the recipe. I think you're referring to the one that we demonstrated, and that was just ranch roasted potatoes. It was 6 cups of quartered red potatoes, 2 tablespoons of dry ranch seasoning, and 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil.
And they were in the air fryer for 20 minutes total?
I did them in the air fryer, or Brenly is cooking them in the air fryer at 360 degrees for 20 minutes, and we shook them in the basket at 10 minutes. So they can be done in the oven as well.
Now, when you make your one recipe, we didn't touch on menu writing or anything of that today. We're just talking about technique. So if you make your recipe, you will provide us with a menu later on with what you're all going to serve with your recipe, but you're only cooking that one recipe. Any other questions? I can't see the chat real well, so.
Katrina wants to know if I can make a sauce. Not wanting to speak quite out of turn, it would be something we'd want to help you work through your recipe, selected sauce recipe, and see if it meets a food group serving of like a vegetable or perhaps a fruit. At this moment, not knowing enough, I'm tending to lean towards the no, but I would be interested in seeing your recipe and helping you decide if it fits within a food group. When we have a situation like that and not sure if that recipe falls into one of the 5 food groups, there is a tool that we use in our contest. It is the serving size worksheet, which breaks down the recipe ingredient by ingredient, uses a little math, and helps us determine if it has enough of the ingredient of that specific food group to provide one serving. So Katrina, if you have a recipe that you're interested in using, maybe send a copy of it to myself or Jody or Tracy, and we could definitely work through that for you and see where that might fall, or if it could be a complementary piece to perhaps maybe a protein or a vegetable. So I'm getting a question about if you wanted to make these potatoes at home but didn't want to use an air fryer, same amount of time and temp. Let me take a look at the original recipe and I'll type that back in the chat.
It might be something you could bake in your oven, is what you're wondering, maybe?
You totally can bake it in your oven. In fact, that's what the recipe calls for. You can also find it online under like Hidden Valley Ranch's website, but I will go grab the original and add that information in.
Is there any other questions you have? Oops.
So the timer just went off on the potatoes. If you want to see them, we'll take a look, see what they look like. If you were going to make the potatoes at home, they do need to go in the oven at 450 for 30 to 35 minutes.
And how many minutes was that again?
30 to 35.
30 to 35 minutes.
All right, so here they are. And actually, looks like maybe they need to go back in for a little bit, but I'm letting my taste tester, or my, not taste tester, but taking a look to see if she can tell if they're done. We're gonna just see if they're fork tender. This young 4-H member is interested in taste testing. Brother and sister social distancing here doesn't seem to be, all right, we're gonna take it away from here and we'll go back and finish up with that poll.
All right, just a reminder, we mark your calendar for our next 4-H in action. That'll be on April 23rd at 2 o'clock. We do have a end of survey here. So will you consider participating in a future 4-H special foods contest? Please mark yes, yes, county and state. Maybe the Zoom room has inspired me. I'm not sure I'm ready yet. Tell me more. Will you consider participating in a future 4-H consumer decision-making contest? Yes, county contest. Yes, county and state contest. Or maybe the Zoom room has inspired me. So go ahead and answer the poll. As you're marking your poll, we have recorded this, so if you have some other 4-H members that may be interested in this and weren't able to get on today, we can share that to them too if you want to email us.
I'm going to close the polling in 10 seconds.
All right, as we finish this poll, is there any other questions that you see in the chat box?
We do have a question. Can you email it to me too? I have some families who enjoy this. Great job. That's from Jennifer, and we sure can. We will work together and get this sent out. And like they said earlier, if you're looking at recipes, send it to us and we'll be happy to take a look at it now and make sure that it'll fit into that special foods contest.
We want to thank you guys all for participating. Are there any other questions yet before we end this 4-H in action Zoom today? It was fun to see everyone participating in the Skill-a-thon and catching things in their kitchen. And great to see our 4-Hers.
It was very great to see all you guys. Nope, I don't see any more questions, Jody.
All right. Well, if not, I will leave these emails up, addresses up just for a little bit longer. You can take them out and then we will see you again next time. Thank you for participating.